Some characters manage to be simultaneously very simple and straightforward, while also being hard to read and maintaining somewhat of an air of mystery about them. Our favorite wannabe British tank commander, Darjeeling, is a great example of this. Let's take a closer look. This week's video is brought to you by my isekai fantasy light novel series, Light into Another World. While being suddenly stranded on another world is certainly a problem, a good soldier turns it into an opportunity to make more of a difference there than he ever could have back home. 10 volumes of the series are already out, with more on the way, and Volume 1 is currently on sale, so check it out. Now, on to the video. So, before we get into properly talking about Girls und Panzer their film, we have a bit of unfinished business. Specifically, character analyses for at least a couple of the St. Gloriana girls. Since I hadn't established my order of character analyses before battle analyses, until after I did the battle analysis of St. Gloriana vs. Ori. And, seeing as Ori faces down St. Gloriana again in the opening battle of their film, this seems like as good a time as any to talk about our favorite T and favorite wannabe Brit, Darjeeling. Also, Darjeeling's birthday was just this week, so what better time to do our character analysis of her. Possibly some minor spoilers for Das Finale stuff ahead, but probably not too much. So Darjeeling is a bit of a tough nut to crack, and is another example of a Girls und Panzer character who, on the surface, is pretty simple and straightforward, but who actually has much more to her. Darjeeling being a bit tough to describe personality-wise is largely due to the fact that one of her defining character traits can kind of make her difficult to read. Specifically, Darjeeling takes her commitment to being graceful and elegant at all times very, very seriously. So, she is nearly always in complete control of herself, and what emotions she lets show. She's very soft-spoken and never really raises her voice that we see, but just has this air of command around her that demands attention, both from her subordinates and from us, the audience. Just take a skim through her scenes during the various battles we've seen thus far. There's no more than a handful of times where she looks at all shocked or flustered by any of the craziness going on around her. And one of those rare times she looks genuinely shocked is in the Das Finale 4 OVA, not during a battle. She's always observing, taking in information, and planning something as she sits there sipping her tea. While less so than characters like Maho or Erika, Darjeeling's character was also somewhat used to subvert a few viewer expectations early on, seeing as she's a character whose nature can easily make her come across as aloof or even a bit condescending before you get to know her. In particular, Darjeeling's quirks and mannerisms can give her this air of aloofness, with a sense of superiority between her demeanor, the sayings she quotes, and her reaction to things she finds strange, like Ori's colorful tanks before the first battle. However, rather than being aloof, she's more a bit on the eccentric side. Okay, maybe more than a little, given how some of her teammates react to her at times. The fact that she sometimes doesn't seem to realize how long-winded she gets just adds to her eccentric charm, as do the sometimes bizarre nature of the quotes and references she brings up to her subordinates. What is clear, though, is she definitely does care about others, and is even willing to place their needs over her way of doing things. Once she declared Miho a friend, she was always keeping an eye on her, probably both as a potential rival and out of genuine care. She also knew, after that practice match, that Miho was not to be underestimated, which makes her meeting with Katyusha later on, ahead of Pravda's match with Ori, particularly interesting. Was she there trying to warn Katyusha, to lull her into complacency to give Miho some help in what would doubtless be a tough match? Or was she just there to see Katyusha get tied up in knots trying to figure things out? Only Darjeeling can tell us. Similarly, when in their film she tells Katyusha, after the rest of her squad was eliminated, that at least she was still there, was she trying to comfort Katyusha, tease her a bit, or both? Once again, the only person who could tell us what she really was trying to do there is the mysterious Darjeeling herself. But what is definitely clear is that she's quietly rooting for Miho and Ori throughout. As much as she prods Peko about doing so, her own reactions to the various things going on during the matches betrays her own thoughts. Even the simple fact of her and her second-in-command showing up to watch all of Ori's matches says a lot about her providing Ori support, seeing as her presence there would show that this unknown upstart school will have at least some support, while at the same time giving Ori the due as a worthy opponent by spending time to gather info on them as she watches the matches. A team as respected as St. Gloriana being seen giving Ori the respect of always watching their matches also doubtless sent a message throughout the league. Darjeeling also served as, if not a mentor, then almost as an audience surrogate observer, always following and watching Ori, concerned about what they're up to, and keeping tabs on Miho personally. After all, she's the one who notes that Miho has made friends with all of her opponents, just as we have as we watch Season 1. She comes off as the kind of person who helps and watches out for people while pretending to just do her own thing, while also not seeking any credit or thanks for that help. On the Senshiro side, Darjeeling is always very determined to win, and she deserves to be confident. She and her school are the only one to have defeated Ori not once, but twice already. However, Darjeeling's commitment to her stereotypical vision of English elegance extends to her Senshito-related interactions with others, even outside of the battles themselves. She's displayed a very strong sense of chivalry and fair play, as we see first early on when, in the practice battle with Orai, she only brings enough tanks to match Orai's numbers, and of course right afterward, where, after being genuinely impressed by Miho's performance, gives her a tea set, and more importantly, her fast friendship. Her sense of fair play, however, is probably best seen in their film. There, it's heavily implied that she was, if not the one who came up with the idea for all the schools to come lend Orai a hand, was the one coordinating everything, complete with referencing the famous poem broadcast to signal the French resistance that D-Day was coming, with her own tea-related flair added, of course, particularly fitting for Darjeeling, who also loves herself some famous sayings. Similarly to most of the other school commanders, Darjeeling has a very specific style of Senshito fighting, and strictly sticks to it at all times. In her case, she prefers a very orderly, precise approach to her battles, at least where most of her tanks are concerned. She's the type to have very precise plans to follow, but also clever enough to prepare for multiple contingencies if something disrupts Plan A. Also, while she prefers steady, calm elegance, Darjeeling still understands the value of some measure of aggression and chaos. After all, she's more than willing to utilize the Crusaders, which, from rosehip to the commanders included in Das Finale 4, seem to be exclusively commanded by colorful characters. Also, as we see later in the main Dare film battle, Darjeeling is also willing to fight in a way that isn't quote-unquote elegant, because she understands that there, she is not fighting for herself, but rather for Miho and Orai. But no matter the circumstance, she's a commander who, much like Maho, is always very level-headed, calm, and in control of the situation. Between her personal Senshito skill and her well-disciplined team, it's no surprise St. Gloriana is a powerhouse team. You don't get too much of a chance to see Darjeeling outside of Senshito, whether in the battles themselves or in her observations of said battles. However, if some of her moments in the Taicho War OVA are any indication, she does have a cuter, more relaxed side that we just don't see usually. Her reaction to the koala and the discussion about cuteness revealed a little bit of that. Also, while she claimed that she had decided to wear the Orai uniform as they came to help in their film, because everybody else wanted to wear them, for some reason I've also got a feeling she kind of wanted to try it on herself. She's definitely got a little bit of a mischievous streak to her that she keeps buried most of the time, but shows itself on rare occasions. Perhaps we'll get to see a bit more of her outside of a Senshito context in the last two Das Finale parts. Or maybe the showrunners will choose to keep her a bit more of an enigma for us. We'll just have to wait and see. But at least we know she'll get plenty of screen time as we approach the finale of Das Finale. Her and her tea, of course, as she gives Orai another battle to remember. If you enjoyed this video and like to support me when I do here, my books and light novels are all available on Amazon. And you can get early access to videos, sneak peeks, and updates on the upcoming Military Mori manga and other projects by subscribing over on Patreon. I also offer channel memberships now, through which you get access to monthly members-only watch-along streams, in which we're currently watching Space Battleship Yamato. And as always, if you have any thoughts on this video or just anything Garzes and Panzer related you'd like me to talk about, definitely share them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear them, and while I might not get to respond to every comment, at least not in a timely manner, I can guarantee that I read each of them. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads. That's all for now, so until next time.